I came to Barbara's Place at a different time in my life than most women come to Barbara's Place. I was 66 years old. I had had an exciting life. I had had a wonderful life. I had a great profession, a husband, and I had affluence, I had travel, I had all the things that people dream about. However, I was unglued, I was lost, I was broken. I got a DWI, and my baby brother had died of an alcohol-related death. My siblings didn't want to lose anyone else in the family to alcoholism. They knew about Barbara's Place. They got me an application, even though I'm supposed to call and ask, but they put it in my hands. The other thing that happened to me is that my daughter pulled the tough love card. She said, "Mom, I'm not going to talk to you for a year until you're sober." That was a hard, bitter pill to swallow. So I arrived on the doorstep of Barbara Place, and it was God-given. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I arrived, I had this sense of peace, tranquility. I finally stopped running. I don't know what I was running from, but I was willing. I was willing to find out, what is this God thing? I was raised as a Catholic. I have the traditions of the Catholic, but I guess I was a cafeteria Catholic. I picked and chose what I wanted to do. I love God. He was my big full moon God, but I, didn't really listen to him. My relationship with God was like a radio with a lot of static. Sometimes I listened, sometimes I didn't listen. And now God had had enough. He decided, okay, you've done it your way. Well, how about if we try it my way? And he stopped me in my tracks. I said, Barbara's Place. And thankfully, it might have taken that long. I was willing. Barbara's Place, I learned so much. I knew a lot as a Catholic about the Bible, the New Testament, but I didn't really know about the Old Testament. And so, as Lynn John says, we have Bible 101, we have Boot Camp Bible. I have a 6-month degree in Bible studies, and it was fabulous. We started with all kinds of what they call the superheroes of the Bible. And every day that goes by, since I was in Barbara's Place, something happens, and it reminds me of a class that I had at Barbara's Place. We had lifestyle classes that were related to scriptures. At Barbara's Place, I learned about unsafe people. Safe people, unsafe people. I was probably an unsafe person. I probably still am an unsafe person, some parts of me. But, there it is. I learned about it. I learned about boundaries. My generation, we didn't learn about conflict resolution. We didn't learn about boundaries, but I learned, and it was terrific. It explained a lot of things. I learned about codependency. And at Barbara's Place, there's a fabulous staff. Each one of the teachers are just amazing. They're gifted in a different direction because of their personality and their natures, but they're unbelievable. And it's a blessing, and only God could give me that blessing. Oh, there's so much hope. There's so much hope that God really loves us. And that was something that I needed to learn. Because in my world, what happens is that it makes a big difference whether something is real or it's fake in the marketplace. And so I tested. I drove people crazy. I asked so many questions. But, once I learned it was genuine and that God really loved me, and then he was going to provide for me and care for me. And all I had to do was live my life in according to his will and wishes. Didn't take much to say, sign me on, I'm ready, let's go. So I would say that to anybody who is struggling, just give it a chance. See where it goes. God, the Holy Spirit is probably my strongest relationship with God. And I don't know whether that's because of my conscience or whether that was God's way of pursuing me. He wasn't stalking me, but he was pursuing me, and he kept me on track as best he could with the Holy Spirit. Sometimes I listened, sometimes I didn't. So, All the addiction doesn't have any barriers. It doesn't have any age barriers. It happens to everybody. It doesn't have any economic barriers. But I would say to anybody, you know, it's never too late. Slap on some lipstick and say yes to God.